on, everyone? It's Nina Infinity. Welcome to my channel on this Wednesday night for Infinite Talk. And I am here with my co-host, John Talks. How are you, John?
I'm excellent. I'm pretty happy to be here. We've got a very special guest, Chrissie Mayr.
Hello,
Did I say that right? Mayr?
Yes, Mayr. You nailed it. Like John Mayer, or I say like Mayer, the player. But yeah, you nailed it, which never happens. People always go Mar or Meyer. Yep, it's a German spelling. So like a lot of German people, when they got to Ellis Island, they wanted to assimilate, so they added in an E. So you'll see more people who spell their name Mayr.
I was always, I always was confused about that because I was like, it's usually Mayer, but
totally,
yeah. Okay, cool. Well, tell everyone who you are and where they can find you. If you don't know, I mean, you've been living under a rock, but Chrissie's amazing. So please tell everyone.
Stop it. I'm a comedian who was recently kind of in the last 2 years kind of sprung into like, I was never political, but when I started to see like the destruction of free speech in comedy, I was really kind of like politically activated and kind of red pilled, gold pilled, like all the pills happened between like 2018 and really like at the beginning of the pandemic. So I've been, I graduated college like very much an SJW, feminist, all the things.
Me too.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Like I look back at my former self and I'm like, oh, you poor thing. Like you just,
totally.
But you know what? It's like we all had the same kind of like brainwashing training, like probably college scenario. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've been doing stand up for about 11 years now, which is so hard to believe. Like I can't believe I've been doing anything. I feel like I've barely been dressing myself for 11 years. But and then before that I did improv comedy for like 5 years, and before that I interned at Late Night with Conan O'Brien, so that's kind of how I got my start into like being into comedy, because I went to school, I thought I really wanted to be a reporter. I figured I'd be like moving out to Alaska and then eventually like work my way back to a better market, and then I interned at Dateline in New York City, and I was like, this is so fucking boring. So I was able to get an internship at Conan for my senior year of college, and I just fell in love with the whole atmosphere and the writers, and like
how was working with Conan O'Brien?
Yes,
that's amazing.
We'll just from now on, hey, the whole show is going to be about Chrissie's experience working on Conan.
Oh my God. Well, it's like I almost feel like over the years I've met people who are such hardcore fans of him, and then I'm almost like, oh, I didn't deserve to be there because I'm not like, worshiping him. Like I was like, okay, cool. He was a writer on The Simpsons. Like I loved that show. But I just was like, okay, like he's funny. I just wasn't like the biggest fan of him. I think I came to appreciate him like later on, like, like years later. But it was very competitive. It was like the interns were kind of like at each other's throats for like, who's going to get Conan's dinner? Who's going to get dinner? Who's going to order the dinner for the writers? Who's going to like pass it out? Like we were like fighting each other over doing the most menial fucking tasks. Like
who's going to do Conan's laundry?
Who's going to print out the fucking meeting notes? Like who gets to go to the bar where Conan forgot his credit card the night before? So, and it was just so competitive because everyone wants to be hired to be like a PA. And my intern year was actually like Adam Yenzer, who went on to do stand-up and then work for the Ellen Show. And I think maybe, I don't know. I think the Ellen Show is done or whatever.
Yeah, they're done.
They found her out. I don't know. The jig is up with Ellen. So I don't know what he's doing now. And there were a couple other stand-up comics who were in that intern year, as well as Ellie Kemper, who went on to, it was during that internship where we, seeing sparks fly between her and Michael Coleman, who was a writer at the time, much older than her. And now look, she got onto The Office and now they're married. So
wow,
it's pretty crazy how.
That's crazy. That's Kelly, right? From
Ellie
The
Kemper.
Office.
Ellie Kemper, the redhead. She was
the redhead girl. Yeah,
Kelly. What was her?
Not Kelly.
Character name?
Erin from The Office. Yeah, the secretary chick.
Yeah. So I just was like, and then all the writers were like, oh, well, if you're into comedy, like improv, get into improv. So after I graduated. I started at the UCB, and I was like really fortunate I was able to do that. I just was living at home in Long Island, always working a day job, and then I would, you spend $400 a piece on these improv classes. After 8 weeks, you sign up for the next one. You do that through level 6. You try to get on a team, and like people spend years and thousands of dollars doing this, just hoping they get, picked on a house team, because then that's where SNL did some of their talent pool search from. And I just was like, I was noticing I was kind of like hitting a wall at UCB. And then I was like, I think it's because I'm not fucking any of the teachers. Like I would see a lot of the other women kind of like, and I'm not saying this from like a salty, like bitchy perspective.
No, I hear you.
They just
Like
weren't any good or talented, right?
I was like, I know that I'm funny. And I see these women that are like not as on their game, sort of like getting ahead because they're like, banging Chris Gethard or whoever. And I really wanted to, but none of the teachers were like to my liking. So, I mean, I think I got fingered in the basement a couple times by like whoever, but I guess it wasn't enough. And then I went on to do the Magnet Theater, which was another improv theater, which I actually liked better. And then I did one show. And then I was like, okay, I think I can do stand-up. Because for years, stand-up was like the most intimidating idea. I just was like, there's even some, like once in a while I'll be like, oh, I'm about to just talk for an hour on stage, and I don't feel like I'm the expert of any. It's weird. You get in your head, you get like, what's it called, when you imposter syndrome, right? You think you're just like not good enough, and
I don't belong here, I shouldn't be.
Yeah, but then it's like as soon as you get your first laugh, you're like, oh, this is what it's about. It's about connecting with these people and having a good time and like helping them have a good time. So
that sounds amazing. I mean, I've always loved stand-up comedy. Like it's always been like a really I always loved it. I think it's a really beautiful art form in a way because I have a lot of heroes that are stand-up comedians like George Carlin and Bill Hicks, and I always felt like comedians are kind of like the philosophers of our time in a way, because they're the ones that kind of see things that we like regular people don't see, and they point it out. That's why I feel like it's almost kind of like becoming a lost art in a way, because of all the stuff that you said at the beginning of why you feel like you have to kind of speak out now because of like, your free speech is in danger. So you can't really speak to a lot of the stuff that's going on anymore. I was having this conversation actually with John the night the Dave Chappelle special kind of dropped. And people were kind of like really praising it at that moment because, Dave goes after that crowd, and, they don't like that. But at the same time, John and I were talking about how the special itself wasn't that funny in a way that Dave doesn't really hit at like the liberal elite all that much. Like he makes fun of a lot more of like the Republicans. Like he made fun of like, Pence. And I was like, I mean, Pence is, he's
such an easy target. It's also like very unoriginal. It's like everybody's like, oh, Pence is gay. It's just like uncreative. It's like, but maybe it gets an easy laugh. Like maybe it was getting an easy laugh when he would tour it. So,
but it's just weird to me that, like, for example, if like George Carlin was doing that stand up, like he would be destroying what's going on right now in this administration. I mean, you have Poopy Pants Biden. Like you there's so many things that you could make fun of, and like he didn't go near any of that. So in a way, I feel like it was like the closer itself was a little bit of a letdown for me as because I like political comedy. I like that kind of like, and if anyone can do it, it would be Chappelle. So when he first started, like the first 5 minutes when he was going into like, oh well, like we had the lockdowns and stuff, and I was like, and like like make fun of the ridiculousness, and then he stopped like very abruptly, and then just kind of went into that whole other side of things, which is not to say like I don't appreciate him just kind of like
I know
going
exactly
after
what
that.
you're saying. I've heard this from so many people. I've heard a lot, and I haven't seen every Chappelle special, but I've heard so many people echo that same thought of like not his funniest special of all the ones. And there are so many factors that come into play here, because people go, oh, like Chappelle, it's like he's this interesting combination of like he's made it, he's uncancelable, truly. He's just too big. Like he's so big at the point where like he could go to any room in the country and fill it within like an hour's or so notice. Like he was doing shows at the Stand in New York City, like and you know, I'd get emails from the Stand, which is one of my favorite clubs in the city, like, hey, we have a special guest dropping in, you know, and people would know that it was him, and the room would sell out, you know, in minutes. So you're never going to cancel somebody like Chappelle, and I think we all kind of like put our hopes and dreams into him, like our free speech dreams, because we're like, you know, it's like the message, like with the homie, we tie a note to a pigeon and go, find Dave Chappelle, you know, like go find him, get the message out. You're the only one who can save us. You're our only hope. Like you can say the things that we want to say that we can't say because we will get fired. We will lose friends and family. And yes, he can totally be that thing. People think he should be that thing, but he's just like one man, and just like all of us, we're the sum of our experiences. And you look at that recent special and you're like, well, clearly he felt like he had a lot to answer to.
Yeah.
You know, Dave Chappelle is not going to spend all day replying to people on Twitter. He put it all in this special. Like this, in many ways, this was his one, like, you know, his Twitter thread was this special, and he's responding to all the things he feels like he's got to respond to. And for some reason, like fucking morons think that he's anti-trans, even though he has a trans opener.
It's so crazy.
It's like fabricated, false, fluffed up outrage. Who knows if this was really an on purpose plan on Netflix's behalf? I wouldn't put it past them to just sort of like, maybe if they didn't plan it, but they're like, oh, we're gonna stoke these flames because, and then of course the CEO apologizes like so after the fact, like after everybody's already seen this fucking special, and it's like, okay, like coming in
it was
there.
such a hollow apology too. It was like, yeah, we're sorry. Like, no, you're not.
And it's so easy for like us, the people, to like put our hopes and dreams and like, oh, Dave, you should say this, you should, and you know. And I want that too, but at the same time, like he really only has like himself to answer to, and like he's doing great financially. It's at the same time, you never know where somebody's like loyalties are. You don't know where their ties are. Like even I've noticed some comics, like I thought they would be more outspoken against the vax mandates and like not performing in places that, you know, like make you show papers. Like I expected a lot more comics to come out and be like, oh fuck, I'm not that I'm anybody huge, but like Jim Brewer is probably the biggest comic right now who's outspoken about it. And then of course you have like Clapton and like several other artists, but you just don't know. I think a lot of people have like kind of Hollywood ties or Hollywood hopes and dreams because like for so many comics, they see that as the kind of the one solid path to success. And if you do anything to piss off Hollywood or piss off like the classic comedy gatekeepers, so like, you know, the late night shows, Fallon, Colbert, whatever, like Comedy Central, HBO, which now like HBO is really just like all like woke folks comedy specials, and kind of Comedy Central kind of really is too, as is the, you know, the path to get into these late night shows, because like for a minute I was like beginning to be on the path to get on Colbert, and your set has to just pass through so many times. There are so many tweaks that are done. And like, I'm not trying to like, and people might be like, oh, you're just salty because you didn't like make it through to the end. Like Dave Landau has a story too, as he was like on the path to getting onto one of these late night shows. And he just sort of threw his hands up because he was like, this is taking too long. Like I'm a road comic. Like I have gigs to get to. I can't always be like sending you a new 4.5 minutes. And you just, comics spend years like hanging out at certain you know, Union Hall in Brooklyn, or like kissing up to a small time club owner in Long Island City, just because they're like, oh, these are the right people whose asses you have to kiss to get through in comedy, because it is kind of a small world. Like I had a girl comic, kind of like a woke, like SJW type socialist comic, who like we kind of like had a beef in 2018 because I did an impression of her on Compound Media, and which like we all can do. There's a huge show in New York City called Stick or Treat in Brooklyn every year where we impersonate like comics who are more famous than us. And like even that same year in 2018, I did Michelle Wolf, and it like went off
that's
great.
funny.
But like
I need to see that. Do you have
yeah,
a clip of
like,
that you can
there
send
is,
me?
yeah, there is a clip of that out there somewhere. Hi guys. She's just like, my voice has to hit like the perfect shrill place to make that work. Like I just have to listen a lot to them and then I can do it right away. But like from memory, it's a little bit harder. So anyway, I had this beef with this comic girl, and she was better connected than me. She was a little bit more of an industry darling because she's like feminist and, you know, go Bernie and saying all the right things, you know, like coming across like this man hater, you know, just like doing all the right things to get you ahead in like sort of mainstream comedy. And she kind of like she hit those goalposts before me. Like she had a Comedy Central 15-minute special, which is really just a set. I mean, that's hardly a special, but again, like I don't want to sound like the salty person. But anyway, so she was in a bunch of people's ears at like a couple of festivals after I did this impression of her. And she thought, and Compound Media has a really like loyal fan base, and we're all free speech. We're all kind of like anti-PC culture. We're like comedy, like funny is funny. Comedy should come first before, you know, anything else, basically, kind of like old school comedy values. So then when the fans see somebody else who comes onto one of the shows on the network and is kind of like offended or storms off, which is what this girl had done, they kind of, you know, rib her with like, hey, what's wrong with you? You should have a thicker skin, da da da. And then I did an impression of her like being offended. Oh no. To make a long story short, like, you know, there was screenshots of me in a wig pretending to be her. And these screenshots, like, the fans of Compound Media were like, oh, we loved Chrissie doing this impression of Kate, da, da, da. They loved it. But then she and her fans were like, oh my God, she's doing an impression of me. This is horrible. And then she reached out to me and she was like, Chrissie, you don't understand. Like, one guy said that he, you know, he wants to stick a railroad spike up my keister. Like I'm getting threats. I was like, to me, that doesn't sound like a threat. Like, it sounds like you're being a little bit like dramatic. So I responded back to her. I was like, where does somebody even get a railroad spike in 2018? And she's like, oh, how could you? And then so I kind of doubled down on the impression. Part. So I came in the next day as a railroad spike, dressed up like head to toe, tinfoil, but I was an anti-rape railroad spike. I was like, I don't want to be up anybody's keister. I don't want to be up any white girl's butt. Like, I have a family. I have a little rail at home. You know, I have spikes at home. I care about a little rail, whatever. I had a family. So I was being goofy. I was like personifying a railroad spike. But then the same thing happened. Fans of Compound Media took screenshots. Oh, we loved Chrissie as the railroad spike. So funny. Da, da, da. But what happens? Kate and her camp of people see me in a aluminum foil railroad spike costume and go, how dare Chrissie? She dressed up like a raping railroad spike. She's encouraging people to threaten like her. Da, da, da. And then she just took the ball and ran with it, like totally taking advantage of the Me Too movement. Like, again, just like, and again, she had
Me
all
Too'd you?
these. What?
Did she Me Too you? Like, were you
no, but she would have. No,
the railroad spike.
But again, like, I don't know if to me, it seemed like this is misunderstanding somebody's intentions on purpose and like using them instead of being like, hey, let me see that footage to see like how offensive you were. No, nobody asked to like, nobody would like even like just sign up for a week and fucking, you know, see what you're so offended about and then make a determination. But no, it was like, Chrissie's horrible. She is encouraging fans of Compound Media to come after me, like saying all the things, totally playing a victim. And she's also at the same time in everybody's ear, like at Comedy Central and at these festivals. Oh, I'm a horrible person. I even got a call from this girl I was working with. I think she was maybe somebody who helped me get on America's Got Talent. She's like some like industry person. She was like, Chrissie, I'm at this festival right now. Like, your name is Mud. Da da da. This is really not good. I don't know what's good. Almost saying like it almost sounded like she was signing off from like fucking with me. Now, like her tone is very much like, I don't know about you anymore. Like,
oh my God, like, that's unbelievable.
And as you can hear, this is like a long, almost boring, annoying, hard to follow kind of story. So, but again, she had like better credits than me at the time and
Yeah,
a
no, I
bigger
agree.
Twitter following. So like not only did she have like the support of the gatekeepers, but also like all the other comics, a lot of other comics in New York City. Again, they're gonna kiss her ass. They're gonna like yes and her, follow her, right? Of course, all the feminists, and anybody that's so many comics just think like, oh, if I hang on to somebody kind of more famous, like then I'll be elevated, or I can open for them, or I don't know, like
Yeah.
it's about relationships, right? And in a sense, that is definitely
Well,
true.
it's show business.
Exactly.
So, and that's what show business is. Like, no matter what part of show business, like it's all about context, it's all about who you know and whose ass you're kissing, how well you're kissing it, and all that kind of good stuff. So
yeah. So to make a long story short, I was like, oh, I'm being canceled. Like I'm being publicly shamed. This is such a big misunderstanding. Like
over a bit.
Nobody
like over a
even
bit.
I mean, you were dressed like a railroad spike. I mean, like, how seriously can anyone take that? I don't know.
But that was like that. I always think like every experience teaches you something, you know, like whatever. God puts these things in your path to make you stronger and like help you rise to the occasion. So like that was like, oh, that was like, I mean, I think I've been sort of canceled by the city of Utica. Prior to that, like I went to there was another, like I went to Utica and I just took a dumb video like Chrissie's shitty tour of Utica, and then a local radio station picked it up 6 weeks later or 6 months. It was long after the fact, and I just was like, because Utica is a shithole. It's like it's basically like the New York's Detroit. It was a city that was like pumping during like the industrial sort of time. And I don't know.
Funny because I knew somebody that lived in Utica. I mean, this was a while back, and it's funny because I'm close to Detroit now. So.
Yeah, and I would be like, oh, look at this outdoor pool, and it would be like just an unfinished foundation full of rainwater. Like I would be kind of purposely like shitting, oh, there's a shitty office building, oh, look at this bartender, she's also the local stripper. And then of course there's not much going on in Utica. They picked it up, it blew up. Like there was
God, it reminds me of that video that you used to show, John.
Cleveland tourism video.
Cleveland tourism video.
Yeah, Chrissy, have you ever seen this video?
No.
Oh my God.
We'll talk. Well, I'll show it to you after.
Okay.
But please go on.
Yeah. I was so happy because my like shitty tour of Utica video got more views than ultimately like their like whatever their city like
the city tour.
Video.
Yeah.
But again, it was this dumb throwaway thing, not even rehearsed. I was like a little buzzed because I was just like hanging out with my boyfriend, just like some dumb work thing in Utica, and I just was like, I guess I'm gonna make this weird video. Oh, it turned out the girl who I called a hooker, like from the video, was like, I was that bartender. I am not a hooker, and I was like, oh my God, everyone calm down.
Too seriously.
So Utica.
So you're like the most hated person in Utica.
I think it's calmed down. This was a couple years ago. It might have also been 2018. But that has calmed down a little bit. Like, and people in the comments, like publicly, would be like, fuck you. And I said like, oh, in New York City, I'm a 4, but in Utica, I'm like a 10. And then they'd be like, you're definitely a 0. Even here, you're the worst. You know, I hope you die. And then in my DMs privately, people would be like, yeah, actually, there is a big meth problem here. You know, things have really gone down, you know, like
that's so crazy.
Of course. And then I had a friend who said, you need to read this book, So You've Been Publicly Shamed, by John Ronson. And it really, it's like one of the most important books I think I've ever read, because it made me realize like, oh, it's not about you. It's just like, you're the thing of attention. You're the bright, shiny thing. And then of course, anyone who hates you is going to be like, yeah, let's pile on. But most people go, oh, this is the thing we're all looking at right now. Like Louis C.K., anybody, Cosby. This is the thing we're looking at. We're all shitting on this person. Okay, like let me elevate myself so that people can see me shitting on this person. It's for selfish purposes. So once I realized like it's not so much about you as it is everyone else sees that as a chance to kind of get ahead.
Yeah, using you to climb up that ladder and make themselves look like part of the crowd, right? Because they want to be like, yeah, look, we belong.
Then, oh, who am I impressing? You know, in the process of doing this. So that after that happens to you a couple times, it's like it does help you grow a bit of a thicker skin. And then of course, like 2018 is when a lot of I don't know, that things got more woke, I guess. And like, I don't know, just wokeism became more kind of like mainstream and everything was getting cranked up. And it's like, well, we can't make fun of this group. We can't make fun of this group. We can't make these jokes. Like, seems like there's a lot of things we can't make jokes about. And then you look at somebody like Dave Chappelle, you're like, please be our savior. Just bust through this fucking wall like the Kool-Aid man. Like, you can do it, you know? And
if anyone can do it, you can.
yeah.
You're untouchable.
Exactly. And like, nobody knows what's important to him but him. And like, maybe he wants to bust down some of the wall, or maybe he doesn't care to. Maybe he's just, you know what I mean? He also, but I respect that that money is not like his primary focus, because he left, I think, right in the middle of I don't know if it was a Netflix deal or if it was after Chappelle's show, but he walked away from millions of dollars.
It was the Chappelle show, Comedy Central.
Yeah. So when he like buggered off to Africa for a while and people were like, is he unwell? I think maybe that was him trying to take out some of the Hollywood meat hooks and just kind of be his own person again. So it's like no one is going to be everything that you want them to be. Like, even if Carlin was still alive now, I'm sure people would be like, oh, but he should have fought for this. Yeah. He should have mentioned this. And everyone just, I always use like the Care Bear stare metaphor. Like, we all have a common goal. Like, whether you're comedians or musicians or podcaster or like someone who reviews comic books, like, we all are kind of on the same team, but we each like have a different color, you know, angle. And we each, not to go LGBT here, but like, we're all this rainbow. Like, we're all on the same team. We all have a role to play, and each of us can reach a slightly different group of people, an audience, you know? So it's like the Venn diagram, right? So it's like, this is what I've found so interesting and cool. And like, the biggest blessing of the last year and a half is like, I've been able to connect to, you know, like the Nerdrotics channel and people who pick apart like culture and movies and comic books. You're like, oh, this disease of wokeism is sort of bleeding into so many areas of our life.
Well, that's how I found you. I found you through Gary Nerdrotic and FNT, and I was like, this lady's funny. And I'm one of those people, unfortunately, Chrissy, I will admit, I didn't like female comics. I still don't. I think they're not that funny.
But that that makes sense. Yeah.
I was like, I'm so over people like Amy Schumer just making fun of vagina jokes and period jokes and just like, you know, just like, that's it. Like, just our anatomy. And like, that's as far as their humor go. And I'm like, can we make fun of something else? Like, we all have vaginas.
And that's true. It's like, most people's point of reference for a female comic is Amy Schumer, and which is horrible. And it's kind of a niche thing. It's like someone who's really into something. Oh, like, you're really into cello music. Oh, well, who do you know? Oh, you know about Yo-Yo Ma or whatever. And like, so it's like, then there's comedy nerds who like, they fully dedicate, they can name, they know who the comics are in each city or whatever. But the ones that kind of like pass through into fame, right, they have to be like doing all the right things, and they have to be like the industry darling, which means like, don't say, you know what I mean? Like,
which means vagina jokes. Like,
there was kind of like a script for like how to be a female who makes it. But like, the thing with Amy Schumer was she like came to fame. She kind of blew up like while she was dating Anthony Jeselnik, and she sort of like came to fame with a certain sense of humor. She was kind of like a guy's girl, and she was doing like Opie and Anthony, and she was like a comic and had like a fun could definitely like hang. And that's the thing, is like, the more successful I think you're going to be in comedy, I think is directly related to like how many guy friends you have, because like, there's more guys in comedy. I think there's more guys that consume comedy. So the closer your sense of humor is to kind of a guy's, like, not saying you can't be feminine, you can't be a woman, but like, I don't know, that's it's an innate feminine trait to be like worried about feelings and like being sensitive, right? And like, kind of, you know, being aware of feelings and like empathy, whereas like it's more of a male trait to be like more honest, I think, more direct. And so then when you play those like typical roles out into sense of humor, like, men bond over ribbing each other, over calling each other gay, over, you know, just like stuff like that. Whereas like women are hilarious, and like you know, like you see women like cracking up with their friends. Like it's not that men are funnier than women. It's just that women don't really choose stand up as a path because
Right.
like I started stand up at 26. It takes the average person about 10 years to like make it, find their voice, whatever. Well, guess what those years are also? Those are your prime dating and having a family years. So most women don't want to like take a risk on those years to like maybe make it or not, because those are the years they should be dating or like fucking hanging out in a tight dress outside of a steakhouse trying to find a man. So,
Because that's where you go.
that's what you do.
Oh my God.
Just like hang out
Just
right
like
outside
this,
the steakhouse.
like,
Wow.
hey boys, who works for a bank? Anybody? Anybody? Hedge funders? Okay.
Oh
I'll
my
be here all
goodness.
night. But yeah, so it seems like the women that do kind of make it, I mean, Amy Schumer is like the biggest example. And then once she made it, she kind of changed. And a lot of people are upset about that because she was like this cool, fun, joke around girl who could like hang. And then she made it and she kind of got PC. She kind of got woke. She was like,
Yeah.
the feminist.
I remember when
feminist
she
shit
was
came
funny
out.
and then she crossed over. Same with like Amy Cho, I think her name is. She, like,
Margaret
she was
Cho.
Margaret Cho,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, she was like really funny. And then all of a sudden it's like she switched and then it was all same kind of jokes. And I was
And
like,
you
"Ugh."
don't know, and it's still only she knows. It's like that could have been her true self, and it was unveiled once she was, you know, was well off and didn't have to like pretend anymore. Or she could have been like, oh, like my success aligns with Hollywood. So how can I stay in their favor? How can I adjust? And then those adjustments, the sum of those adjustments equaled someone that a lot of her fans didn't recognize anymore. And maybe she felt like, okay, to get more into movies, I have to be this way. Like, again, this is all like speculation, but I understand people getting upset. And then a lot of guys even, and it's like Schumer hasn't been relevant in years, truly, but so many people are still like, you better not end up like Amy Schumer. You better not like change and get woke and PC. So it's like that really burned a lot of people on female comics, I think. And of course, like, yeah, the stereotype that you just talk about your vagina, that, you know, which you know, you should be able to talk about whatever you want.
You can,
know?
you can talk about whatever you want. I mean,
Yeah,
I've heard you make fun of like make some vagina jokes.
Well,
and
at
they're
some
hilarious.
point you probably have to, right?
I mean, yeah. It shouldn't be your whole thing. Just like if anybody talked about one topic most of the time, it would get boring. Yeah.
I mean, do you think it's when you get that big, do you get a manager, or obviously you've got an agent, but do you get somebody that is kind of got their hooks in you and now
maybe, and
now
they
it
help
becomes
steer you a little?
corporatized or, you know, commercialized rather?
Yeah. I guess when she got like Inside Amy Schumer, that was probably like her first big thing. And I guess like everyone's like, the more people that have their hands in like you, this is like sounding pornographic in a way I don't.
No pun intended,
Everyone's
maybe.
Yeah, that's
everyone's
all inside
got a
Amy
finger.
Schumer, and you're
Everyone's got a
like,
finger in you. And I've never had a manager. Like I have never, like I've had people help me book gigs on the road. My boyfriend helps me a lot with my podcast, with like producing, making graphics or whatever. But like maybe it's good and it's bad. It's why I haven't had more like mainstream success. It's why I don't have like any. I'm working on trying to get a special out soon, like in a couple months. But it's why I don't have a special out already. It's why like I'm not, you know, I've auditioned for stuff. Like I've auditioned to be on like Crashing. I've had like a lot of random auditions, but like I'm, you know, it's why I'm not on like Netflix or HBO right now. It's because I don't have a manager.
I personally admire that, Chrissy. Like I really admire what you're doing, because I think that I admire people who speak like to truth to what's going on out there. So I admire like everything that you and the compound media people are doing, because I feel like that, like I said, like that's a lost art, and speaking truth to what's going on is important to me, especially through comedy, because comedy is one of the ways that you battle authoritarianism, totalitarianism, all that kind of stuff, because I fully believe that these people in places of power are psychopaths, for the lack of a better word. They are psychopaths, and they hate being made fun of. And one of the reasons they hate being made fun of is because funniness delegitimizes their bullshit. And we talked about this a little bit last week with Eric July. I actually talked to him about it again, like in his chat the other day, because he was talking about something about comedians and how you have to delegitimize these people because they think they're like God's gift to earth, and that their view is like, the only way. And the only way that we can battle that is through comedy. And I feel like people like you are actually kind of like heroes of our time right now, because they're like, you guys are the only people who are standing up to this nonsense in a very effective way, because humor helps. Like, look at this whole Let's Go Brandon movement, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
it just
It
turned
was
out from
great.
the
Yeah.
funniest thing, right? Like, just the smallest thing that everyone turned into this massive thing of exposing the media for what it is and exposing the administration for what it is, which is a fucking joke. So
Yeah.
that it's very crazy to me. Real
wonder-
quick though. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
I wonder how Adele feels. Like all of a sudden she's number one.
Did you see that guy?
Then one week it's like, who the hell is this guy? And what the fuck is
Oh.
Let's Go Brandon?
Did you
Like,
see that guy tweet at her and was like, let's do a mix together and you can sing
Really?
the-"
No.
Yeah.
That's funny.
He like tweeted at her and he was like, let's combine. You can be my backup, and like saying like, let's go, Brandon. Like, in the
you should have
back.
been like, hello. It's
Oh
me.
my
And then, like,
Oh my God. Adele is doing fine. She's doing great.
oh yeah.
Mhm.
I
She's
can't handle the
fantastic.
people that are upset that she lost weight. You know what I mean? Because it's
I
like
can't
the
believe it either.
oh, if you're upset that Adele lost weight, guess what? You're fat.
You're fatty.
Sorry to break it to you, but like, she doesn't exist to justify your unhealthy habits. And the fact that Adele lost weight, like, without it being a production, without it being like my journey, without it being
Mhm.
like my struggle, without being like my eating disorder. It's like, no, girl, just like put in the work,
Yep.
lost the
Yeah.
LBs. And
Crazy.
it's the fact that people are upset, like people that will never meet her, that might not even be fans of her music, like are upset that she
Yeah, she
can't.
just showed up one day and all of a sudden it was like, holy crap.
This is what makes people feel comfortable. This new crop of Hooters girls is what makes you go, you know what? I'm gonna sleep in today. I'm not gonna go to the gym, because I'm not at this level. Or if I am, it's like, oh, that looks like me. Representation. Everything's
Hey,
great.
yeah, like I'm represented in Hooters now. This killed me though, because you were like, the wings were too good, and I was because literally like the first second I saw this picture, I was like, did they eat like all the chickens? Like
Was
I
this
don't-
some sort of a Halloween like kick line? With like, are these employees or is this a group costume?
No, I'm pretty sure these are employees.
Really?
Yeah.
Where is this?
I mean-
Atlanta? Where? I mean,
It's probably San Antonio because there's a lot of big women down there.
I guess if that.
I mean,
Does this make you
some
want to
men
eat
like-
more? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe subconsciously, maybe. I guess at one time or another, what was it like back in like ancient
Oh, look,
China or
I'm
something?
a relevant person. Wow.
No, didn't they find like artifacts of like men actually liking heavier girls during a certain period
Back
of
in the
time?
day, you
Yeah.
look at art like Botero or Botticelli, like sure in the Renaissance.
Oh, yeah,
when
yeah.
people
The
were
Renaissance,
starving and dying of all sorts of things.
Right.
It meant like your family could feed, like you could eat a full meal a couple times a day and like you'd be a little soft. You know what I mean? There was no like gym culture like there is now. And you weren't like plowing any fields. So yeah, you could afford to get to like maybe like 150. It wasn't like, oh, there weren't like obese people. And then of course, like artist exaggerations, like who the hell knows?
Yeah, I guess it makes sense too, especially back then that would be somewhat attractive actually.
Yeah, I
probably
guess because
meaning
it
that you're
meant
of a higher status and you actually had food so you can
Yeah.
survive.
your family had food. Maybe you could get a little, like you could bang them against a sharp corner and they wouldn't get upset because they're padded. I don't know. I don't know what is attractive about all that. Maybe like I can push this girl down the stairs and she's not gonna break any bones. You know, she looks like she could take a punch. I don't
Oh
know.
my God. I love you, Chrissy. Real quick, I'm going to read some of these super chats because everyone has been so incredibly generous. Thank you so much, everyone, for just being here. Please smash the like,
Smash
share the
it.
stream, all that stuff. Smash it good. And we got Athenon for $19.99. Thank you so much. Says, "Hail Nina, Todd, and the amazing Chrissy." Todd, who's that? I don't know who that is. Chrissy.
You know,
I'm taking a
Todd.
guess. Yeah. You know, Toddy Talks. Sure.
That's your new name now. Loved seeing you on FNT and happy to catch you live. Well, thank you for being here. Nerd Cookies, thank you for the $2. Says, "Chrissy, I loved your Grace Randolph bit. Hi, John and Nina." Hi.
That was hilarious, Chrissy.
That was hilarious.
She's great. I love Grace. I asked her to do my podcast. She hasn't written back. I wonder if she's upset, but no, she's great to do.
I thought you nailed it.
You nailed it, and I actually have.
And I like Grace too, by the way. But you know, it was just a great comedic interpretation of her.
I like that she is just like low key boy crazy. You know, like it comes out like
she loves
John Cena. Wow,
yeah. she
what
loves
a package. Yeah,
it's true. It's funny though because I actually I saw a tweet by her today. And I was like, "Oh, this is gold." I hope that Chrissy can read this in her Grace Randolph wonderfulness for me. Would you be able to do that?
I mean, I don't know if it's about the Eternals.
It is about
I'm gonna wait and see. I knew it. First of all, I like without even having to see this movie, I am so thrilled at the representation, which is extremely lacking in the mainstream media. Despite it being literally everywhere.
My God, I love you.
I know some of you are disheartened by the Eternals Rotten Tomatoes score, considering it features the first LGBT couple in the MCU. But don't worry, Disney is not giving up. I hear there is substantial LGBT representation in Lightyear as well. Not Buzz, another character, because we know he's white and made of plastic. I hope I get to see an ass crack. I'm gonna wait and see.
Can you believe this tweet though? Like, yeah, don't worry, you guys. Sorry, they're like, you know, this movie
doesn't have
sucked.
to. I mean, maybe this is how she genuinely feels, but like, you don't have to try so hard. You don't have to constantly be like carrying the LGBT like I was gonna say corpse torch. You need to, like, don't carry that corpse around. I don't know. I just like
it's like the Green Lantern Corps, but it's like the LGBT.
Just be good at what you do. Put out a good product. It doesn't always have to be like, you don't have to constantly be like the fucking champion of diversity. Like, people are smart. If they'll watch stuff that's good, and if it's really important to somebody to watch something that features people that look like them, they will find it. There's so much content out there. It's like if you don't see yourself in the mainstream, all right, well then you can find yourself in some niche shit you really like. It's I don't know. I'm all about like create what you don't see available to you. Like, don't take the, you know what I mean? It's like, like
be creative.
Create what you want to see, or create what isn't out there. Yeah, that you want.
America the Free, thank you so much for the $10. Says $10 for Chrissy doing Jen Psaki. So did you hear that Jen Psaki has
she has COVID? Oh yeah. Oof. I wonder if she's gonna get long COVID. I wonder if she's gonna be coughing through those press things, you know, when she has to answer questions.
The press release.
All I care is that Peter Ducey stays healthy, because we need him. We need him out there asking the hard questions.
Front row.
Yeah, Peter Ducey is only like 32 or 34.
See,
he's like
I made fun. I made fun though, because the second I heard that she had the coof, I was like, I bet you she's faking it because she doesn't want to answer questions about Poopy Pants Biden.
Oh, wow.
Dun, dun, dun. Play the X-Files music.
Dun, dun.
Right. It is kind of the perfect excuse, because you don't have to like show anybody your positive test, and it can be breakthrough, and you can get it multiple times.
Yeah. So if I was to ask Jen Psaki, ask Jen Psaki right now, Chrissy, are you going to circle back to being healthy or what?
God, she's hard to do because I haven't listened to her voice in a while. Yeah, I just want the American people to know that I do have COVID. I still would recommend everyone get the shot, get as many shots as you can, even if you pass out immediately after getting it, still get as many. I urge you, just constantly just find as many strange substances and put them into your body as possible. And I'm gonna circle back to this when I'm feeling a little bit better. And I don't want to get any questions about any particular person crapping their pants.
Oh my God, there you go.
Did you know that if you poop in front of the Pope, it's called a holy shit?
Oh
I
my
have to listen
God.
to her.
Speaking of
Chrissy's
that-
like all too easy. All too
So easy.
With her, it's like she's so boring to do an impression of because like she is just like there's nothing fun about her.
she's
her-
so monotone.
She's
She's
so plain and like ugh. So with her, you're like, okay, what can be added into her that can make her more fun? So it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, make her. I mean, for me, it's always fun to make a woman like low key boy crazy or like what is her little secret? You know, maybe she doesn't have any friends and she just is like, who can stay after this and get a beer with me? Anybody? Any final questions? Who wants to be my friend? You know, you're like,
Yeah.
what can sneak out to make anytime you like impersonate someone who doesn't have a human quality to them, like if you can add one in, it makes it for like more of a likable experience, I guess.
I get that. So then we had a $5 super chat. Thank you so much for Curtis. Hello, Chrissy, Nina, and John. Chrissy, do you know who JP Sears is? He is my second favorite comic next to you.
Oh my
what do you think of JP?
Wow, you must have a thing for redheaded comics. Yeah, JP Sears is super funny.
I love him.
I've reached out to him to do my pod. I guess he's busy or hates me. I don't know. Yeah, he's definitely on my to-do list. Would love to get him on.
Oh, that would be amazing.
He's super funny.
Yeah.
And he is a really great example of somebody who like, yeah, changes people's minds by being funny. Like he doesn't really tell people what to think. He like uses sarcasm and exaggeration to make people think.
He's amazing. He's really good at it.
Yeah, I think he's a great example too of how you don't necessarily need to go through the mainstream to.
Yes,
I'm assuming like he's making a pretty good living doing what he's doing. So it's like, you know, there's so many. There's just so many different paths. I think for people to take, and even comedians now, where it's like, yeah, you don't need the gatekeepers now.
It's amazing. It's like the best time to be doing this because, right, if you can create a following at the end of the day, these comedy club owners, like they just want to fill their seats, whether that's with a comic, with a YouTuber, with Stormy Daniels, with Jeremy Piven, like whatever. If you can bring business, great. They'll have you, and because they need to stay in. Even before the pandemic, they, you know what I mean? Like it's not everybody thinks to like go to a comedy club. People are like, you know, dates, whatever, hanging out outside of steakhouses, a lot of that, or drinks, or a movie. It's like it doesn't occur to everybody to like go to see live comedy. Right, because it's just so easy.
God,
like
I miss
Netflix
going to
and
live
chill.
comedy. I mean, this whole COVID thing is like, it's so annoying. Now you got to be
is so
vaxxed to go
annoying.
places and everything
Fuck
like
that
that.
shit. Don't do
So-
it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not planning on it. Ian So Forth, thank you so much for the 50. That's a massive super chat. Thank you. Love to all three of the panel. George Carlin's great example. He was calling this out from the early stages. Loads of respect to Chrissy for sticking up for funny. It is so important. It is very important.
Yeah, you know what it was? Like I saw what happened to Compound Media. When I first joined Compound Media, I was like, wow, a lot of leftists and like, you know, establishment comedy people are shitting on Compound Media, calling it like alt-right, just because it was free speech, right? Just because it was like funny first. And people go, oh, Gavin McGinnis used to have a show on that network. Oh, it's run by Anthony Cumia. These are, you know, they had their, you know, judgments about these guys and about this network. And that kind of came on to me. And I was like, oh, wow, nobody's even bothering to get to know me. Like I have the same sense of humor at Compound Media as I did when I was hosting a show at a gay bar for 6 years. So when people think like it's all about like, you just see how superficial people are and like what you associate with is who you are. And then I saw that happening in a larger sense to like anybody who freaking owns an American flag, anybody who is in DC on January 6th. Like, it takes so little for you to be declared like a horrible person.
Alt-right, yeah,
So
racist, whatever.
when I had that, I saw what happened to me, like with compound media, kind of happened to the country in a larger sense. I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. Like, yeah, I need to fight for this because this is some bullshit.
Yeah, it is. It's freaking nuts nowadays. 200 Watt Studios, thank you so much for the $2. Says, hello, beautiful ladies. Looking good, John. 200 Watt Studios also for another $2. How about that Virginia bloodbath, New Jersey?
Ooh, what is happening with New Jersey? I think they called it from Murphy.
I think they called, yeah, I think the Dems got that one.
It was pretty close. I mean, it's a moral victory in a way.
They're saying a lot of funny business went down there, though.
Yeah, don't be dismayed, New Jerseyans, because it's like, at least you know there's people who are going to be like watching him closely and will fight, and you're not alone. And there's people who are going to speak out
next time around.
Yeah. Next time. 200 Watt, thank you so much for the $2. Says, give me 2 turtle noises for Nina and Chrissy. Oh my God.
Turtle noises.
Yeah, so I have a show called Infinite Hope, Chrissy, where for fun we watch animal videos, and part of that is
animal sex noises.
Oh, turtle fucking! They're like,
yeah, they're like,
you hear like the shells like banging together.
No, like, the dude turtle makes this noise going, and that's what he's talking about.
Have you looked up lions, like what they sound like when they're about to bang? It's something called chuffing, where it's like. My boyfriend does it really, really well. He's like, it's like.
Is that like letting the female know?
It's called chuffing. Yeah, it lets the female know she's about to get it.
Oh my God.
He's like, get in the mood now.
Get ready. Yeah, prepare yourself. Hang on to something. Yeah.
I'm going to have to look that up next Infinite Hope for sure. But the turtle noise is the and there you go, 200 Watt Studios.
I make that same noise.
I think some tennis players might make that noise too. I mean, from a distance, you hear it. Yeah,
well, Maria Sharapova used to be like, and she would like make like the weirdest noises as she was like doing it. I was like, man, she's turning me on, and I'm not even a dude.
I mean, there was something about that. You just stayed. You were glued to the.
I was glued. I was like, Maria Sharapova is just freaking goddess when she's doing that.
You automatically start thinking, like, even if you are, just especially if you're a teenager at that point, like, what is this girl like in the back? Like, oh my gosh,
she must be real feisty. America the Free, thank you so much for the $10. Says, let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
Thank you, America the Free.
Here's the thing, like, when people love the "Let's Go Brandon" thing, and they don't want us to like laugh. Did you guys see all that headline that said like laughter is a tool of the far right or something? Like, or laughter is a tool of the, because like they don't want us laughing, because what is laughter if you boil it down? It's an acknowledgement of a shared reality. It's an acknowledgement of like truth in time, because a laugh is involuntary. You can't control. We've all laughed at something we shouldn't have. We've all laughed at something that like we didn't plan to. If the comic's good enough, they can get you to laugh at necrophilia or whatever, like no topic is off limits. So and that's the thing, is like they don't want us realizing that we're more alike and we share a reality. They want as many realities and as many groups as possible.
It's weird because what you just said is the exact opposite of what science says, like in terms of like what they said about laughter, because apparently science thinks otherwise. They think that it helps you. Memes about COVID-19 helped us cope with life in a pandemic, a new study finds. So there was an actual study that talked about memes, and memes help.
This is when they say trust the science. This is what I think of. I go, we're doing studies about memes. Okay.
Does a meme a day keep a doctor away? Not quite, but it looks like it might help. According to a recent study, researchers with Pennsylvania State University and the University of California, Santa Barbara found that memes helped people cope with life during the COVID pandemic.
You don't need a study for this. Like, we don't. Of course.
Who's giving
these
laughter's
people funding? Good? Like, laughter's
it's
good.
The best.
Like,
never stop sharing memes. Like, never stop like joking with your friends and saying inappropriate shit. Like that's
it. I mean,
that's what we need.
That's what life is all about, like laughing with your friends. That's why the whole lockdown thing was such bullshit to me, because it's like, you know, they want to just stop human connection and laughter and love and kindness and just like, you know,
I saw
being
this
together.
awesome meme today. It was like a couple looking for a house, and it said like wife, illegal immigrant, husband, illegal immigrant, and then like their house hunting budget was like $450K. And then I was like, this is great.
That's
It's such a
good.
smart meme. And then people in the comments like, no, actually their budget should be 900K because they each get that amount.
Right.
I was like, oh, this is great. Like there's just certain things that you can say with a picture or with a cartoon better than you can say with words, and like vice versa. That's why I love following G Prime. His name is George Alexopoulos. He's a cartoonist. He just I just sort of became friends with him. He did the show. He's somebody, if you watch Tim Pool, like his cartoons are in the background
okay.
of Tim
I've
Pool's
seen those.
Timcast. And so good, and he can convey truths about society in cartoons that you can't necessarily through, you know, conversation.
I love that other guy too. Actually, you told me his name and I've totally forgotten it, but the guy that was like, he does these funny kind of like skits on TikTok or like YouTube even, where like he was talking about this very thing that you just brought up about the 450 thing. Like he was like pretending he's walking like from the desert, and he's like, he's got a beard, and he's like, yeah, so like I left the country and I went over to Mexico, and I'm
is that Tyler Fisher?
I think so.
That's my buddy. Yeah, he's
so
you know, all those memes he has right now, because he's shooting a movie with Gina Carano. They're out in Montana.
Oh, damn. Okay.
It's the one that the Daily Wire is producing.
Yeah.
And Gina's out there, he's out there, Nick Searcy, Samir Armstrong. They're all like this amazing sort of like canceled group of actors. And obviously like Gina Carano is like the queen of that. And it's so exciting because I had Tyler Fisher on my podcast. He's a stand-up comic, and like we've become like better friends like over the last year. But I remember like I think the beginning of this year, like we were on the phone, and he's like, and then we ultimately did a podcast about it. And he's just saying like, yeah, my agents are saying, sorry, you're white, like tough shit. You're just not going to get any gigs right now. And that's that was the reality that you had to accept. And nobody was really fighting for him. They're like, sorry, this is it. You know, like these agents are all like pussies, but he was like, I'm really worried about my career. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I guess I have to get more gigs. And then sure enough, like he gets on this movie with Gina Carano, and like,
that's great.
I'm so happy
to hear that. Yeah. Like, dude, he's amazing. Like some of the stuff he's done, I've just been like on the floor every time. Like he did this whole skit about like what the vaccinated are going to be like in like 20 years from now or whatever. And like the guy keeps asking for all these papers, and he's like trying to like pull out all these papers because he's trying to get into a club or whatever. It's just like,
oh God,
so
yeah,
good.
Like don't have the vaccine, can't go to work. Don't have the vaccine, can't get groceries. Don't have the vaccine, you can't touch the interactive voting map.
Oh my God,
he's so great. I love him.
Love that guy.
He makes me want to like open up my TikTok account again. But not like
I haven't gone into the whole TikTok thing because I feel like I'm such a boomer.
You're not a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah,
none of us should be on TikTok.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, I can't do it. And everyone's like, get on TikTok, get on Twitch. And I'm like, dude, I'm in my 30s. Like, I can't. I know.
Like, I should be reading something. Like, I don't, you know.
Yeah, totally. I feel like I need to read a novel. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, let's get back to these super chats. Thank you so much, everybody. Then we had 200 Watt Studios says, Chrissie at Steakhouse, prime cut right here, boys. Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, you like this rare? Ew, it's that time of the month. Gross.
Oh my God. Oh, I love you, Chrissie. Then we have another $5 from 200 Watt Studio. Chrissie making like a siren with her turtle sound to men outside Ruth Chris Steakhouse. We did this one. Thank you, America the Free. 200 Watt Studios again for $2 says, Chrissie, please say as Gray Standoff, so I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see. There you go. 200 Watt Studios. Then we had Joker Voice. Thank you so much for the 5. Says, "Hail Nina, Chrissy as Grace Gold. Hi, John. Turtle noise, please." Thank you. Thank you, Joker Voice. 200 Watt Studios for another $2 says, "Chrissy, please get Brian Reagan on your podcast."
Oh, Brian Reagan. He's big time. He is like one of the most successful clean comics probably of all time. He might be so big that he won't answer my emails, but I'll definitely try. I think he's fantastic.
I have to check him out. I don't know who he is.
I think I've heard a set from him before. Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's very animated. He has great act outs.
I probably know who he is. I'm just very bad with names. I'm just not a good name person.
I mean, he is white, so I don't know if you want to.
Yeah. I get
your
that.
time. Yeah.
I mean, it was okay for a white guy.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Apex Comics, thank you so much for the $2. Says, "Far left Dems are like lizard people from V." Damn.
From V.
Have you seen V?
For Vendetta?
No, not V for Vendetta. It's called just
V.
Just V?
Yeah.
I think it was code for something, wasn't it?
No, it's called it's V for it's V for visitors.
Vegemite.
It's for it stands for visitors because they would call themselves like they're visitors from outer space, but they're like lizards.
Spooky. You mean illegal immigrants?
No, it's an 80s show. It's really good. It's an 80s sci-fi. They had a remake of it, reboot of it in like the 2000s, but it was not as good. Is it V for Victory? I thought it was Visitors. I forget. Oh, Victory. There you go. Victory, Visitors. Same thing. I guess.
It depends on which side you're on.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really good. Then I think that we caught up with super chats. So thank you everybody for all those. Just real quick too, I just wanted to bring up the fact that Chrissie Mayr did dress up for Halloween. She went as a vaccinated person.
Yes, that's me. let me talk about my Halloween. Yes, I am an almost 38-year-old. Yeah, there's no side effects. There's no side effects. I'm eating the mask. This is how I'm an almost 38-year-old woman who did go trick-or-treating. Yes, but like I'm so saddened by how many people took this seriously. Like they seriously, by their reactions, people thought I was because I'm like 5'2". I could pass for a kid, I think.
Wow.
I think people were actually thinking that I was telling them that I was fully vaccinated because a couple people were like, oh, fully vaccinated. Okay, good for you. And I was like, you fucking morons. Like, wow. And then some lady was like, oh, you're wearing a mask on top of a mask. I'm like, yeah, that's the costume. That is the point. Oh my God. That's the thing I'm doing. And like maybe at the whole night, 1 or 2 people were like, haha, great costume. But most people were like,
it just went right over their head.
Yes, like right over their head.
And like I should have made it say like cause of death. Fully, I should have done that.
See, I thought you should have done the opposite because right now the opposite is scarier to people. Not vaccinated,
true,
married, happily married.
I would have done like a head to toe red, like a drop of blood, and I would have been like pure blood, and I would have done.
Oh my God, signs. Yeah, totally. That's the scary thing to people right now. Nerd Cookies for $2 says Brian Reagan is the best. Present company excluded. Aw. 200 Watt Studios for $2 says V is a metaphor for how the Nazis came to power. Wow.
Oh wow. Way to bring down the room.
Curtis D says, John, you need to move to Montana.
It does sound like you guys are a lot more free.
Whoa,
over there.
That was just like the Matrix for a second. It was like,
it was a little trippy.
Window in window in window.
All right, before I forget, Chrissy, I want to show you the hastily made Cleveland tourism video. This is
I need to watch this.
So
Cleveland is great.
So in the description too, they even went so far as to write, so the Cleveland Board of Tourism was not happy with the first video I turned in. The first one's funny. I believe the second one was even it's a masterpiece. In fact, they said upon viewing it, 3 of the board members moved away. So.
Wow.
Fun times in Cleveland again. Still Cleveland. Come on down to Cleveland town, everyone.
This is exactly how it looks.
1668. See our river that catches on fire.
And everything is exactly this color. It's different shades of gray and brown.
Times a year. This
Oh my
guy has at
God.
least 2 DUIs. Flats look like a Scooby-Doo ghost town. Don't slow down in East Cleveland or you'll die. Our economy's based on LeBron James. Price of a VCR. Our main export is crippling depression. We think this is art. It could be worse, but at least we're not Detroit. We're not Detroit.
We're not Detroit.
So yeah, is my volume? I feel like the volume wasn't.
It was
that
a
good.
little low.
Cleveland has
Yeah.
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame museum, which is decent.
Does it?
Yeah.
I've never been.
It's
Yeah,
nice.
that's what I heard. Yeah.
But that's about it. And I was zipping around on a bird scooter, having a great time. I did Cleveland, I think it was May or June. I did like a one-nighter there. Yeah, you don't want to
One-nighter.
stay there too long. Just a one-nighter. I think I was at the Hilarities in Cleveland, which is actually a really great club. Like I really like the guy who runs that place. They have good food.
Ah.
Yeah, shout out to Hilarities in Cleveland. I think it's on 4th Street. But yeah.
Speaking of terrible costumes, by the way.
Oh God.
Not that yours was terrible, but Katy Perry's was freaking awful.
Oh, what a fucking shill.
I know, right? Like she went as
Dude.
a vaccine, and her boyfriend went as like Fauci or something.
Is this Orlando Bloom or is this a different man?
No, this is a
Gotta be
different
somebody
dude. I
else,
think.
Katy
right?
Perry is so compromised. She and I think Orlando Bloom, like this was like at the beginning of the pandemic, and I did an episode about this. Well, not a whole episode, but I mentioned it because I saw it in People Magazine. 'Cause sometimes I get from like my boyfriend's mom. She'll like, here's People Magazine. All right, I'll just flip through it for fun. I saw Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom or some other guy wearing Fauci gang sweatshirts, and I was like, hold on a second, hold the fucking phone.
Oh,
Like you might remember some other celebrities had like Fauci gang, right? When everyone was like obsessing over Fauci and Cuomo, and oh, they're so hot. I'm like, on what planet? Like these,
he got the handsomest person
I would-
award on People. I was like, what the fuck?
yeah, I
is
would
going
bang the
on?
hospital parking attendant before either or Fauci. So and I thought no, these celebrities are not going and having Fauci gang sweatshirts made. It's just not happening. Like they're busy. They buy like, you know, nice expensive clothes, or they have nice stuff like sent to them, whatever. There's no way in hell they're getting those made, which means there is somebody who is sending them Fauci gang sweatshirts and paying them
to
wear
It's
them,
gotta
to be
be.
photographed
It's
in them.
gotta
And it's the
be.
same reason for shit like this. Like nobody in their right mind wants to be in these costumes. Like you want to do
No
a sexy Heidi
way.
Klum, you want to do like a fun Halloween. You're not going to choose to wear this. So that's how I know like she is in so deep. I mean, you can look really deep into it with like MK Ultra stuff and like
Yeah.
look at the symbolism in her music videos. Like
Mhm.
that's a whole other thing. But
Mhm.
she is such a Hollywood shill. Like she is a puppet. She is
I mean,
completely
she
paid off.
single-handedly blackpilled Russell Brand because he was
Wow.
married to her for like
Yeah.
I think like 6 months.
And Russell Brand is super red pilled now. Like his
Yeah,
content is
'cause of
so
her.
good.
Because he was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Like he divorced her ass like after like 6 months or something, and he went completely the
She's
other
like
way.
all
Like
in. Who knows if she's
Mhm.
like her brain is damaged from all the like I don't know,
from all the
abuse
vaccines
from Hollywood, or just from like her whatever like brainwashing they had to do to her to you know make her you know as
Yeah,
they did with Britney
succumb.
Spears, as they do with like
Lady
all these
Gaga.
starlets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
Poor Lady Gaga. I mean, like people don't even know half the shit. It's crazy. But
great.
yeah, I thought that was kind of nuts because I was like, imagine being a celebrity and you have like all this money to do whatever costume you want to do,
Right.
and you're like, I'm gonna go as a
Yeah,
vaccine.
and you have a decent body. You're gonna look cute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless you're like fat. Like I could see Lizzo in like a big shapeless, you know, like jab costume or
Girl, did
whatever.
you see what Lizzo
Or
dressed
Hooters,
Although
up
she
you
as?
has
know,
like no
Hooters,
shame at all.
Dude,
She went
girl,
as Baby Yoda this year.
she
I
went
think.
as Baby Yoda, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" But she didn't like color her belly all the way, so it was
She's
like
so
the most
disgusting.
awkward shit. I
Yeah.
was like, "Dude, girl, John,
We
did
need
you
to
see that?"
we need to bring
No.
back body shaming just for her alone.
I almost feel like I'm with you on there, man. Like I like sometimes I'm like, why did we get rid of body shaming? Because that
I think
is
it's
just,
coming back. I'm hopeful that in 2022 it's gonna come back.
I'm just trying to look up Lizzo's costume so I can show everyone.
I had it.
Oh
I
my
literally
God,
had it
she
on my
even
screen.
did the Kim Kardashian thing. I just saw that. Gross.
I'm gonna
Hold
put it in
on.
the private chat.
Okay, I'm
I have a
gonna
link.
get that from you in a second. This is her other costume.
Yeah, this to me looks like something like the
This is
powers
Kim
that be
Yeah,
Kardashian.
that's
like
what. Yeah,
you need
okay.
to wear this for what I don't know. Who knows if
This-
it's satanic undertones or like whatever.
So this is Kim Kardashian. This is her.
Yeah, she's
What
not
the-
gonna wake up one day and like, let me cover all of my money makers. No.
No. Okay, here's Lizzo as Baby Yoda. That I was like, I mean, I could see her as Baby Jabba the Hutt, but
I would like to see Lizzo as a Chewbacca. I think that would be good. I could see Lizzo as a stormtrooper. I could see her as like a ship, maybe.
I
Like
thought you were gonna say Jabba.
I could see her as
No, I
she
said
would she
Baby
would make a great
Jabba.
she would make a great Death Star. But
She
Baby
would
Yoda,
make a
no.
good Death Star. I agree with you there. Watch Lizzo wreak havoc through Hollywood as a out of control Baby Yoda. Wait, there's only one.
Oh, so there's video.
Oh, whoops! Sorry, this was a
There
bad
was
one.
video. I saw her. I was like, she's freaking mental.
Yikes! Her costume should have been like walking comorbidity.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that looks like Baby Yoda. I mean, it
No,
looks
it
kind of
doesn't.
like
It
I don't
didn't.
know, like a gremlin.
It looked like a
Baby
gremlin.
Yoda
Yeah,
slash
I didn't even know it
something.
was Baby Yoda. At first, I was like, "Oh no, she has gonorrhea. It's too bad."
Good
Things
Lord.
Things are looking bad.
Speaking of comedians, though, from like earlier, we were talking about comedians getting canceled. Somebody else did get canceled recently. Monty Python icon Terry Gilliam has a new stage production canceled after staff uproar
Oh,
over
wow.
transphobic views. Did you hear about this one?
I did not, but I know that the old Vic is where like Kevin Spacey like touched all those people.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think he touched like 13 out of 20. He like molested most of the people at that theater, which makes you think like if you're the person who didn't get molested, you'd be like, oh, what did I do wrong? You know, like
Yeah,
it was
like, am I not
mostly
attractive enough to get molested?
It would
or,
give me a
like-
complex. I'd be like, am I
Yeah.
not? Jeez.
Yeah. So at the London Theatre has been criticized for pandering to mob rule after canceling a production by Monty Python star Terry Gilliam, reportedly due to staff unrest about his views on trans rights and the Me Too movement. 80-year-old Gilliam was set
He's
to
80. Oh
He's
my
80.
God.
Yeah, he don't give a shit.
Let
He's
him
like,
live.
I'm 80.
He was set to co-direct the musical Into the Woods at the Old Vic next year, but the show was abruptly canceled last week while no reason was given. Entertainment news outlet The Sage reported that there had been dissatisfaction among staff since May.
No, I don't buy it. I don't
when
buy
the
it.
production was originally announced. What do you mean? What do you
I
think happened?
it's not. I think it was going to be canceled for possibly another reason. I think that a lot of times, like they're like, oh, well, this thing we were already going to cancel or wasn't going to work out, or maybe the funding or whatever reason, it was already going to be canceled. I think they get out ahead of it and they use like a PR friendly thing like transphobia to be like, oh, okay, now this cancellation is justified, or this project just fell through. Not because, of the real reasons, which might hurt their future work or whatever. Like, let's say he's not working on any. This might be his last project. They're like, all right, well, we can he's going out to pasture after this anyway. This is his last thing. It fell through. We'll just say it's because of transphobia. Then we come at everybody else who's involved comes out ahead. Look how woke we are. Look how high, and we're all available now. I just don't buy it. I think that they say that it's this. It's like a nice cover.
That's
for other
interesting.
shit.
That's an interesting theory. The staff concerns apparently revolve around Gilliam's previous comments in the press relating to transgender issues, race, and the Me Too movement, which some felt were at odds with the theater's culture and values. In 2018, Gilliam said during a BBC diversity debate that he tells the world now, I'm a Black lesbian. He repeated those remarks during the interview last year, telling The Independent that he should be able to identify as a Black lesbian in transition.
Gives a fuck? Who cares? No one is stopping you from identifying as a fucking card table. Like,
Yeah.
none of this
But
is
he's
necessary.
that's the thing, right? Like, he's making fun of the fact that, like, you know, being a Black lesbian is like this trend now, and if you want to get ahead, you got to say I identify as this Black lesbian, and people freaked out.
Oh yeah, he was just being funny.
He's just being funny. And he also described the Me Too movement as a witch hunt that allowed decent people to get hammered by mob mentality, and called some rape accusers ambitious adults. While at least one staff member reportedly resigned from the production, the final straw apparently came after Gilliam encouraged his social media followers to watch Dave Chappelle's new special, The Closer. Describing Chappelle as the greatest stand-up comedian alive today, Gilliam noted in a Facebook post on October 14th that there was a storm brewing over the streaming services support for the show. The comedy special has been in the news after the backlash over allegedly transphobic content, including Chappelle's describing gender as a fact, with Netflix staff staging walkouts and facing off against the comedian's supporters. 2 weeks later, the theater announced on its website that it's mutually agreed with the producer's scenario that the production of Into the Woods will not take place at the Old Vic. The Central London Theatre had apparently sold 300,000 euros, or pounds, worth of tickets for the production of Stephen Sondheim's 1987 musical. The playwright is furious over the decision and is standing by Gilliam, according to iNews. Users on the social media have also expressed support for Gilliam, with many criticizing Old Vic management for pandering to cancel culture and letting the mob dictate who is acceptable and who is not. The number of commentators linked to the cancellation of what is this word?
Puritanical.
Thank you. With some paying homage to the icon Monty Python sketches. Isn't this all getting a bit dangerous? Soon no one will be able to share views at all for the fear of being ruined. It takes 300 people to get an ad removed from TV, and a lot less to cost the person their job, British filmmaker Andrew Williams tweeted. So yeah, that's the story.
Right. So it's just like that. So you've been publicly shamed. It's not really about Dave Chappelle, but he is the shiny thing that everybody is talking about right now. And they know, who am I going to get points from? Who am I going to look good in front of if I condemn Dave Chappelle and the special? So, okay, maybe so they did sell enough tickets, but they were just like, I don't know. It seems like a lot of people's jobs and a lot of livelihoods to sort of cancel over just this one guy. You would think like the sum of everybody's jobs would be more important than virtue signaling,
especially during a pandemic. Like,
it's
freaking nuts to me that they would do this. There was another thing that came up that I wanted to get your views on, Chrissy, which was comments made very recently by actor Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, this guy. Yeah. I was talking about this with, I think, Drew Hernandez yesterday. He basically is like pro cancel culture. And that's what, like, you can't. Why are we listening to anybody? Like, if you're a household name, I don't give a fuck what you think about cancel culture. Like, if you've made your millions, he's had his full career already. Like, he's done. Like, he's fucking irrelevant, man. Like,
speaking of his full career, one of them was in blackface.
Of course. Dan Aykroyd, John Leguizamo, you notice all these older guys coming out and being super woke. They're trying to like preemptively buffer their own, I guess, legacy. They don't want people looking back and at all like the racist humor that they've done, which is fine. They should be able to do it. And there's people who to this day still find this stuff funny. I think maybe their management or whoever's around them is probably pushing them like, okay, you got to come out ahead of this. So you don't get canceled. So
jump out in front of it.
So we don't.
Well,
like,
it's
just weak
crazy
shit. Like, it's just weak. You know, like, just stand behind it. Just stand behind it and say, I thought it was funny then. I still think it's funny.
Yeah.
And
he didn't even mention this. He didn't even mention this. What he did say is that basically, like, he no longer wants to make fun. He says, "Can I do my James Brown impression?" He continued, "He was once one of my best friends. I do his voice pretty good, but should I do it anymore?
He's
Maybe
not
I
doing
shouldn't do it
anything anymore. He's not doing any impressions anymore. What has he done? He's doing this again. Why come out with an article like this? Because he has a cameo in the new Ghostbusters that's coming
Yes.
out, and he
Yes.
wants to appeal to the what's fucking hot right now and the woke
Mhm.
crowd and like all the bullshit, right? Like all the virtue signaling so
Mhm.
that people go and see this movie. It might not even be his idea. His people maybe even put him up to it. Like, all right, just come out and say all these things, check all these boxes. We think it'll help our numbers, like whatever.
I
It's
don't
so
know. I don't know if
gross.
that's true though, Chrissy, because it's almost like he's so confused, like because the way that he talks about it in this, like he's like talking about like he's like, but there's more intelligent writing that can happen if you stay away from offensive material that should be rightly canceled for
Anything
its
can be offensive.
hurtfulness.
Yeah. That
So
line
like
bothers me.
Nobody
this
can
is
hurt you unless you let them. Like,
Right. This
you
is the whole
can't-
like words are violence bullshit. which
exactly.
He
It's
should know better.
I mean, it's just so crazy to me that he's basic. And what's so crazy out of all of it is that what you're saying, Chrissy, is exactly what's going on. That Ghostbusters is coming out, and he's coming out and saying this now. Now, he should know that there is going to be a part of his audience that are wanting to see this movie that don't agree with this line of thought, because this is exactly what we're fighting against, especially with regards to the train wreck that was Ghostbusters 2016.
Mhm.
And now like everyone's been excited about this movie, and now he comes out and basically shits all over it, because what he's saying is, we don't have a good sense of humor. We're gonna be bringing identity politics into this movie, basically. Maybe, right? Like it could be perceived.
It's such a
as
pussy
that.
move. Like all these guys, him and Leguizamo, like, oh, they take no responsibility for their past or their careers. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, don't look over there. Just look at what I'm saying today.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
sucks. It's like I really can't respect these guys.
Well, and two, it also draws. I mean, it's actually drawing more attention when they start saying like the politically correct talking points. It
Of
brings all this
course, they know it
attention to
makes
all the
news.
shit that they did before. It's like,
Yeah.
if they just shut up and stayed obscure, I don't even think, like, if they are concerned, like a lot of times it is them just trying to cover their ass because
Right.
they know they've said stuff that is, it's not PC.
It accomplishes
but
a couple things. It's like he covers his ass and he buffers himself. And also, like, as we all know, like how Facebook works, right? Like comments that people are angry about, like, get the most juice, right? So it's like
Mhm.
the type of engagement that makes you angry gets the most juice.
yeah, that's true.
And this is the kind of article that will either make you angry, like it makes us angry, or that's pandering to the PC crowd.
Yeah.
And the
It made me
ultimate
angry. I
result
was like,
is
now
like,
I
oh,
don't want to watch
I
Ghostbusters.
guess
Like,
I'm gonna
fuck
go.
you.
I'm so mad. I'm gonna go see that movie. Like that's what they're hoping, and then shit on it. Oh wow, he's really evolved. I gotta go see that movie. So
Yeah, it totally had the opposite effect on me. I was like, I don't want to even see your fucking shitty movie now. Like, screw you, Dan Aykroyd.
this is such a tame, safe, boring take to have.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. I was disappointed by it. I was like, "Ugh,
Yeah.
really? Like, why can't
again,
you just shut up? I don't know.
They're like shills. They have no these. They don't have principles. It's like whatever they can do to maintain their bag, maintain their quality of life. They're kind of just slaves to the industry.
Yeah.
So
Loopy Locust sends a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Just to say, keep doing what you're doing, Chrissy. I was a leftist once too.
Oh, a recovering lefty.
We're all recovering lefties over here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Actually, John, are you?
I mean, the thing with Dan Aykroyd, he's at a point where he has nothing to lose.
Like, right. Could he? He's probably saved, invested, right? He's probably set for life. He probably doesn't have to work another project. Yeah, maybe this is so he can set himself up for future work. Yeah, I think it's just the people around him advising him to do this.
Probably.
And like
terrible advice.
They're gonna do some PR. They're gonna do some press release leading up to this movie. So why not make it appeal?
Terrible advice. But you know what's not terrible? You guys in the chat. I love you guys. Curtis sends us a $5 saying, Chrissy, please come to Kalispell,
This sounds like a made up
Montana.
place. Okay.
I thought they were going to say Utica.
Utica.
And do a show. I would love to see your show. No mask mandate, no vax mandate in Montana.
Okay.
So
I
there
don't
you
know
go.
how close Montana is to Little Rock, Arkansas, but I'll be in Little Rock December 13th. I just added this
Ooh.
show today. This Saturday, I'll be in Morris Plains, New Jersey. So that's 11/6. And then, yeah, Little Rock on 12/13. That's the Looney Bin. And then I'll be back in Dallas, Texas, December 15th and 16th with Aaron Berg, also from Compound Media, and possibly also Anthony Cumia. So
Is that, Chrissy, is that all that's information? Is that in your website?
Yes, the tickets for Dallas are not available yet, but for Morris Plains and Little Rock, yes, they are available, and they should be in my website because I just updated it before.
Okay, because I have all of Chrissy's links, including her website, YouTube, all social media and stuff like that in the description. So if you're not following her, please follow her and check out those dates if you want to go see some great stand-up. You won't be sorry. I've heard she's really funny in person.
Ooh, you heard correct.
Yeah. Leonard, thank you so much for the $10. Says, do you follow Salty Cracker? He is pure salt. I do follow him. He's hilarious. Have you heard of him, Chrissy?
I've heard of the Salt Army. I don't know if that's related
the Salty
to this
Army.
salt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Salty's.
Yeah, he's funny.
Good.
David A, thank you so much for the 5. Says, nice to see you all. John, especially nice. You're an inspiration. Love your Instagram posts.
Oh, I appreciate that, David. Thank you.
What do you post nudes? What are they so inspirational about?
I don't know if those would be inspirational. No, I just repost actually a lot of stuff on. I mean,
what's your Insta?
John_talks.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. You're probably gonna be like, what's so inspiring about this?
He posts a lot of inspirational quotes, and
I love
like
inspirational quotes.
I
love that
like
shit.
them too. I like them.
Well, thank you, David, for building me up. Appreciate it.
There you go.
Now,
there you go.
Following
everybody's
you.
gonna be disappointed. Well, thank you, Chrissy. I'm definitely gonna be following back.
Yes.
What
this
about
is
me?
how it happens.
Follow me too.
Nina, what's your Insta? I think I just followed you today.
Nina 7 or I think it's Nina Infinity or Nina 7 Infinity. I'm one.
Boom. I am following you.
Woo! Yay!
Love
now I
it.
don't feel left out because that's what girls feel like.
True. You get FOMO.
Franklin Williams, thank you so much for the $4.99. Says, I live in Cleveland.
Ooh.
Devil face and sunglasses face. He's got a good sense of humor. It's okay. 200 Watt Studios 5 says, Chrissy, why do comedy clubs have a wacky names, and what was the wackiest name one you performed at?
Okay. They have wacky names because a lot of them came to be like, I think in the 80s, maybe even like the 90s, like during like the comedy boom, and just like that's what all the clubs were doing. It's just a way for them to like stand out, like, oh, it sounds funny. Like, let's go there. Craziest name, weirdest name.
She might not be able to say it on air.
You know, I mean, Looney Bin is kind of kooky sounding. When we make fun of like on the show, like I used to have this guy who would come on a lot, and he wouldn't be booked on anything, but he'd be like, oh, I'm going to be at Flat Flaps this weekend, you know, which is not a real. I think Yuck Yucks is probably like one of the silliest club names.
I remember Yuck Yucks. That was in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah,
probably Yuck Yucks is
Yuck
the funniest.
Yucks. Yeah. I love that. John, people are asking for some cowbell. Maybe at the end of the show.
Oh yeah.
I'll
give it to you then.
There you go. And then we have oh yeah, we did the Loopy Locust one. So thank you so much for the super chats. Chrissy, who's your favorite comedian?
Ooh, okay.
Alive or dead?
Okay, I mean, obviously Carlin, but I opened for Adam Carolla earlier this year, and he blew me away. Like, I also liked that he was just like, didn't give a fuck about any of this stuff. He's like, I'm shaking hands, I'm eating, I'm licking my hands, I'm shaking more hands. Like, I'm not really a big soap guy. I'm not really into soap culture. Like he was like fucking cracking me up in the green room. He's like, I'm not really into shampooing, all this soap culture. I just loved hearing him talk about like not being into soap culture and not everyone's into all this scrubbing. I'm not about it. I'm just not really like a soap guy.
That's hilarious.
So he is really great. Like I think, Ricky Gervais stands out because he had that speech
And the
I think it was
Golden
at
Globes.
the Golden Globes.
Mhm.
But again, like, does that translate to a stand-up? I don't know. I'd have to look more into it. And Doug Stanhope. I also opened for him a couple months ago. He's
Ooh.
outstanding and a really like great hang, cool guy. Aaron Berg is also one of the absolute best comics for sure. Very underrated. Yeah.
Aaron Burr? I don't know.
Aaron Berg, Berg. Like just
Oh.
I think I've learned like everything about how to do crowd work from him. He's just the best.
That's cool. I'm looking these people up.
Yeah, he's another like Compound Media guy.
Interesting. See, my favorite comedian is Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David.
Oh yeah,
because I just like Larry David's kind of like my hero. If
He's
if I could have dinner with any celebrity, it would be Larry David because I feel like we would just get along really well. Even though he's like a hardcore lefty, I would still be like, I love you. I don't even care.
Like I can overlook it.
Yeah, I can overlook it. We would make fun of it. Like I would just make fun of it with him, especially that whole episode he had. I don't know if you ever do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I liked Curb better than Seinfeld. Like I'm rewatching now like all the episodes of Seinfeld with my boyfriend, and it's like I still just like Curb just seems more believable to me. Like I just watched Seinfeld and I'm like, these guys are assholes. Like the only person I would be friends with would be Kramer.
They were assholes, and that's why
Yeah.
they went to jail in the end, because they were complete assholes. But like in Curb, like, did you see that episode where he made fun of the MAGA hat people? Like, and he was like, if you want to like be ignored, like just wear the MAGA hat so everyone thinks you're a Trumper.
Yes. Yeah, that's
Like,
that was so funny.
Those things are so funny. Like the new season just started, and I'm like totally enjoying it. Thank you, John, for being like, dude.
Oh,
you
yeah.
watching Curb? Oh my god.
Did you watch the second episode?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
It was so good. It was so good.
It's funny because the MAGA hat, like the equivalent of the MAGA hat now, is saying you're not vaccinated.
That's true.
That's
let's go,
it.
Brandon. I guess. Because people think you're racist now if you say let's go, Brandon.
I still think there's a lot of people
think
that
you're
aren't even in the
racist
know about
over
it.
nothing. Yeah.
That's
You
just
wear
true.
cargo shorts, people think you're racist. You own an American flag. Oh, you're racist.
Did you see DeSantis came out today and said let's go, Brandon?
He said
Brandon
the Brandon
administration. Yeah, I have that clip here actually. We can play it real quick. But he's great. He's funny. There we go.
What's going on with some of the if you look at that, if you look at what's going on with some of the big corporations with their woke agenda, when you look at the Brandon administration in terms of what's
I love that.
I like how he laughs a little bit after too a few times. Like
yeah.
Did you guys hear that apparently some FBI, like previous FBI agent came out and said that let's go, Brandon is like a sign of like basically like being like ISIS. Like it's as
oh my God.
It's like the same thing.
They're idiots.
I could see that totally. I mean, the next thing the person that says let's go, Brandon is gonna do is like, just suicide. Like that's pretty much code for, you're about to blow yourself up.
It was the most ridiculous shit I've ever read. So this former FBI analyst mocks campaign of they meant let's go, Brandon, to pledge allegiance to ISIS.
What do they say before
Allahu Akbar? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like, kind of like in the name of Trump or something, right?
Yeah, she came out and said, exactly. And she came out and said, as an experiment, I'd love for a Southwest Air pilot to say, long live ISIS before taking off. My guess is that 1, the plane would immediately be grounded. Oops. And 2, the pilot fired. 3, a statement issued by the airline with a matter of hours. This was all over the Southwest Airlines pilot just saying, let's go, Brandon, after the announcement. And then just I just find like the most ridiculous. It's like the most ridiculous take you could ever have, like to compare something like "Let's Go Brandon" with an ISIS, a call of ISIS, like long live ISIS. That's
Like, what if somebody said like "Orange Man bad" or something? I'm trying to think of like what would be the Trump equivalent of like if somebody said that in the Trump era, like they wouldn't care. Like American
no.
Airlines or whoever was
No.
like they wouldn't give a shit.
Well, I mean, that's why they came out and like all this stuff, like all the celebrities, like that one chick with the severed head of Donald Trump, and like Robert De Niro like come out and like in that award show and just
Kathy
like said straight up,
Griffin. Yeah, she
yeah,
has the
Kathy
Yeah.
Griffin,
severed head.
yeah, that's right.
You know what it is, because they don't want
He
to
got
know
fired.
how many people are on board with that are against this administration. You know,
Mhm.
it's a symbol of like unity. It's again like comedy, something people can get together and team up on, and they just are not about that. They want to shut
Mhm.
us up.
Yeah. Speaking of comedy, the Droid Army sends us $10 and says, "Please introduce Chrissy to Speaking Moistly." Do you know what that
Ooh,
is?
no.
So when the pandemic first started, John and I used to do this show on his channel, and we went like all night, and we would just be really silly. So we would like play that Cleveland clip that you saw a
Yeah,
lot, and we played this other song a lot that was called Speaking Moistly.
it's always funnier when you're drunk. I will
Oh my
say
God.
that. But here, I'll find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can play that for you before we close out the show, because you've been wonderful, by the way. Thank you so much,
Stop.
Chrissy, for
You've
being
been
here.
wonderful.
Yeah, I didn't realize it's already 11. Like
Yeah, it
flew
we're
by.
up on
It
midnight.
flew by.
Yeah.
It went by so fast, and I have like literally 20 links that I wanted to talk to you about. But it just thank you. It's just been so lovely.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chrissy. Appreciate you taking the time.
Well, I mean, if there's like something else you really want to talk about, I don't want to like give you, like news
no.
blue balls.
No, we've basically been through all of it. Like, is "Let's Go Brandon" a form of hate speech? No, it isn't. Carol Baskin is suing Netflix. Did you hear about that?
No, is
What?
it because of the new Tiger King series?
Yeah.
Did she not like how she was portrayed?
I guess not. She decided to sue Netflix. Says Carol Baskin sues Netflix for using footage of her in Tiger
Damn.
King 2. Baskin and her husband Howard Baskin filed a suit in Tampa, Florida on Monday against the streamer and production company Royal Good Productions. According to the documents obtained by Variety, Baskin alleges that Royal Good Productions has breached contract by continuing to use footage of her and her husband in Tiger King 2 since they only signed appearance release forms. The first documentary, Netflix declined to comment on the matter. So
they're like, please don't use this footage of me in my backyard digging up my dead husband. I didn't want anyone to see that.
Exactly. That sounds kind of sus.
These footage of me
throwing an arm,
holding human bones. Yeah.
Giving them to the lions.
Yeah.
Just like.
And David A wants to know, Chrissy, do you think Jeffrey Ross is funny?
No, I think he's overrated. I think he's one of these just like Hollywood blowhards. I don't know.
Is that
some
the
people
fat
like
guy
him.
that does the
Yeah, I've also heard he's like genuinely creepy to women, like dated underage women, like legit dated underage women. So like not in a fake Me Too way, but like a genuine creep. So
I can't stand Jeffrey Ross. Like, I don't know why. There was always something about his comedy that I just
seems arrogant. Like he just, I don't know. He doesn't seem like somebody I'd be friends with or like
he
want to
sounds like a total dick.
Yeah, he has like a douchey vibe.
Totally. Antheon sends another $19.99. Thank you so much, Anthenon. I'm sorry I didn't say your name right.
Athenon. These are hard to pronounce. I give you credit. I can never pronounce any of my super chats. I'm just
I'm like that.
Yeah.
Great show, and thanks for all the great takes and laughs. Let's go, Brandon. And sorry for calling you Todd.
I forgive you.
I love it.
I love it. Apologize for butchering your name.
That's your new name now. I'm gonna call you Todd from now on.
You seem like a Todd to his credit. Like you give off a Todd energy.
I think of Todd like Breaking Bad. You remember Breaking Bad?
Oh my God! Like, wait, was that guy's friend?
Yeah, this is where you're supposed
Yes.
to say like, "Oh no, no,
I don't
definitely
remember
not a Todd."
other than the main character. I don't, and the blonde
Well,
guy that
season
did a lot of
5.
meth. I don't remember any of the other characters.
Yeah, that was his friend, right? Like the meth head friend, Todd,
Hmm.
I think.
He put on a lot of like.
I
He put on
remember
some
Jesse.
weight in the remake.
Jesse.
Yeah, but anyways,
Can I just get an appreciation about the fact that John's microphone matches with the microphone stand on the picture?
holy
Do you guys see
shit!
that?
What?
How'd you do that?
I don't know.
Where?
It just
How'd you
happened
know?
that way. Isn't that cool?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like,
So if you look at the,
Oh yeah.
Isn't that cool?
It's like over there.
Yeah.
yeah,
So the microphone stand
Wow,
matches.
that's pretty cool.
It just happened that way. I just love it.
I can't believe we just noticed that now.
I know.
I mean, I've noticed it the whole show.
Oh
That's
my
why I brought it
God.
up.
You've been holding it back.
I've been holding. Curtis D of Montana sends another $5. Says, look up PSA AR-15 lower with the Let's Go Brandon. NBC called the Secret Service over it. What?
What?
I don't know about this, but I did hear that In and Out put like Let's Go Brandon on the
inside
bottom
of
of
their
their
cup?
cup. Yeah. PSA AR-15. AR-15. What am I looking up? Lower with Let's Go Brandon.
All right, here's speaking moistly. We'll do just a little clip of it here.
Okay.
Cool.
Per request.
Gun dealer sells weapons and ammos using Biden meme. Let's Go Brandon. Oh, wow.
And everybody's capitalizing on this thing.
Everybody. That's crazy. So
Shit, Joe
here's-
Biden's gonna capitalize on it before it's over.
They're
He's
gonna
gonna be
sell
making
it.
he's gonna making his own shirts.
They're gonna be selling it to like, because it's like the weapons industry. They're gonna be like selling Let's Go Brandon to like,
That's
Saudi
awesome.
Arabia and all those guys. It's gonna be like on their guns. Made in America. Let's go
It's
Brandon.
like everybody relax. This is just like a marketing. You know what I mean? Like everybody is making their Let's Go Brandon like whatever they make because it's not some sort of dog whistle. It's just like everyone is getting on the Let's Go Brandon bandwagon right now.
Yeah, and the more they try to stop it, the more fun it gets.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let us have this one. Like they had 4 years of all the worst things about Trump.
Yeah, it was just like fuck Trump. Like it wasn't even granted,
Clever.
yeah. I mean, it kind of originated out of fuck Joe Biden, but didn't have anything quite like
it's
this.
evolved into something. I mean, it's definite movement now. 200 Watt Studios for $2 says John is Todd John Connors' foster dad and T2.
That's so random.
You do seem like a
So
foster
random.
dad.
So Chrissie,
that's the best compliment I've ever gotten.
Wow. Before we close out with speaking moistly, please tell everyone where they can find you, and then we're gonna close the show.
Again, you guys gotta come to these shows. It's gonna be so great. This Saturday, I'm at Tiff's in Morris Plains, New Jersey. Then December 13th, I'm at the Looney Bin in Little Rock, Arkansas. And then December 15th and 16th, Hyenas in Dallas. Check out the Chrissie Mayr podcast on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud. Check out the Wet Spot on Compound Media Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I also do exclusive uncensored episodes for Rockfin. That's another like subscription site for just, if you're into like conspiracy theories and truthers and like, I don't know, flat earth stuff. I don't know. And just people that it's completely uncensored. So that's a great place to go to.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, obviously subscribe to my YouTube channel.
All her links are in the description.
All my links. Yeah.
Subscribe.
John, do you got anything going on?
Just more videos on the way on the channel.
Excellent. All his links are in the description too. Chrissie, anything else?
That's all. Thanks for having me on, guys. You're so
Of
much
course.
fun.
Oh my God. It was
Thanks,
so fun to talk to you. David A asked for $5. Question for all. Do you still buy products and services from woke companies or woke celebrities?
I cannot buy from Nike anymore. That's like one thing that has really stuck with me. Like, no, I just rather not. And actually, you know what? Maybe a little bit. I have stopped buying from Victoria's Secret. Like, I was a lifelong Victoria's Secret girl. Like, just it was my default. I'd be in there digging in the bins with the semi-annual sale. I'd
Me too.
fighting bitches off for $3 thongs. But ever since, like, you know, and obviously they're trying to, I think, cover up from their involvement with like sort of Epstein ties, like Lex Wexner, who was the head guy at like Limited Brands, which I think Victoria's Secret was like umbrellaed under. He was sort of like buddies with Epstein. So I know that they pushed this like woke, like fat Victoria's Secret model thing to sort of cover that up.
I didn't even know that, Chrissy. That's interesting.
This is what celebrities do. They don't like say, oh, this is wrong or false. They just put more news on top of it so that they bury the news they don't like with the shit. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to go to the 20th Google page. So that's why they just, okay, let's make new news, and that buries the news that we don't want people to notice. But all that being said, I still am like not about Victoria's Secret anymore. I'm not about that. And now I buy from like Soma, which is this other brand. And it's like a lot of them are probably, who knows, probably made in the same fucking Chinese factory. But I appreciate the non woke. So, but yeah, I try to do less from Amazon. Like I'm trying to buy more books from like independent booksellers.
I try to do that stuff too.
Yeah.
Try to be mindful. I haven't bought anything Nike for years. It's been, I mean, it's been like a long time. Same with the Victoria's Secret though. We don't even have one here. So I was like ordering stuff online, or like whenever I would go away, I would get it because I'm in Cancun. So like they don't have a store here. But like now I'm like, no, I don't.
You live in
like
Cancun?
I do. I live here.
So you're just on constant spring break.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for you.
That's why when
One
you were
big
telling
party.
me about your Cancun
It's just,
story,
you know,
I was
just
like,
every
girl.
day a different foam party. Look at you. Living the life.
Chrissy, that's why when you were talking about your Cancun story about having bad ramen in Cancun airport, I was like, girl, you need to come here. I'll take you to all the best spots. You will never get food poison here when you're with me, because you'll be like,
okay,
I know all the good places.
We were in Cancun like end of January, beginning February of 2020. So as we're coming back, like obviously it was like the pandemic was just starting, so the ladies were checking our passports going, have you been to China in the last 10 days? I'm like, girl, you're looking at our passports, like you
know where we
tell.
were.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
We like so lucky to sneak that one last vacation in.
Oh man, that's crazy. January, that's like my birthday too. What did you do to the link? We were gonna play it.
We're in the Matrix.
We were in the Matrix. Oh my God.
Oh my God. This is Trudeau speaking moistly. Wow.
Yeah, it's a song that somebody made, and it's fantastic.
One of your shows is called The Wet Spot.
Yes.
Okay, guys. So you guys need to go and follow Chrissy. All the links, subscribe to everything. And I guess that's a good segue to speaking the moistly.
Are there going to be drops? Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for the super chats, the thumbs up, everything, sharing, all that good stuff. We will see you next Wednesday, and we're going to take it out with Speaking Moistly. Here's Justin Trudeau.
Wash our hands onto our elbows. These are the things we know. If people want to wear a mask, that is okay. These are the things we know that prevent you from speaking moistly. Keep 2 meters apart. Speaking moistly. Keep 2 meters apart. Speaking moistly.
Definitely funnier when we were drunk.
Oh my God, we were so drunk.
He's such a boring guy, so you have to be drunk to enjoy him.
Yeah. Anyways, good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Take care.